to be relegated if guilty of alleged financial breaches. Sky Sports report many Premier League clubs want Manchester City to be kicked out of the division if they are found guilty of breaking rules over 9 seasons. You have to question why it has taken so long if breaches were made as far back as 2008-09. To put that much history at risk should never happen. It was so obvious when they did the shirt and stadium naming rights, it dwarfed every other deal that other clubs in Europe were doing at the time and was massively inflated compared to what you would expect to get in the normal market. Mark Ogden, Don Hutchison and Ian Darke discussed the consequences to Manchester City being charged by the Premier League for breaking financial rules. There is something wrong with Holland and Manchester City. Michael Holmgaard, if City are not relegated, then it just means that it is worth breaking the law to win titles. Then the rest of the teams will follow, and I don't blame them. Man City to be relegated from Premier League. It's not only about titles, it's all about what other teams have lost in revenue as a result of them winning unlawfully those titles. EPL winners' financial prizes, including the FA, League Cups and Champions League qualifications. Surely these must be considered as well? If found guilty, they must be relegated. The impact of their financial doping doesn't just mean that they won titles unfairly, but that they also prevented the prosperity of other clubs up and down the league that would otherwise have had more trophies, prize money, more lucrative sponsorships, access to European competitions or even the ability to attract more talented players. This also applies to clubs in Europe that would have progressed further or secured better prize money if not for City. This affects so much more than just City's trophy cabinet. Over 20 years ago, Swindon was relegated for financial irregularities, I believe. Be interesting to see what happens to one of the big boys if found to have done the same. Think about how lower league clubs have been treated over financial problems or irregularities. Luton, Rotherham, Bournemouth were these teams were in those days, so it's got to be a massive points deduction or a relegation to set a precedent and a warning to every club that this behavior will not be tolerated. Relegation at any level wouldn't be fair for the leagues below they get put into, because they will take away promotion spots from those leagues for a few years, because no matter how many people leave they are still gonna have enough quality to get promoted every year. They need temporary financial restrictions which limit them to no more than the average spend or squad value or something along those lines of the other teams in the league, so that it's not a walk in the park to get promoted. Former captain Man City Vincent Kompany questions motives of club's critics after Premier League charges. Former Manchester City captain Vincent Kompany on the Premier League charging his former club with more than 100 breaches of its financial rules. I kind of look at it and roll my eyes a little bit. Burnley boss also added, football can't afford to point the finger too many times. On Monday, the Premier League made the bombshell announcement regarding an unprecedented array of charges relating to a period between 2009 and 2018, with potential punishments if the club is found guilty ranging from fines to relegation. Kompany, who won 4 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups and 4 League Cups during an 11-year spell at the Etihad Stadium, would not comment directly on the charges laid at his former employer's doors, insisting he had not had time to get into it while preparing for Burnley's 2-1 FA Cup win over Ipswich. Must-read articles. Man United players protest against Mason Greenwood coming back to play. Man City charged by the Premier League for alleged breaches of financial rules. There is something wrong with Holland and Manchester City.